Thank you very much indeed, and you are most welcome to the Sierra Leone High Commission. Uh, this is a book that I wrote. I want to emphasize that it is not a fiction, it's not a story, it's factual. And everything I said in this book is true. My father was married to about 60 wives, and we had over 120 siblings. And at an early age, my father noticed my potential. I was more or less on top of my siblings, in terms of development. Uh, then he started to prophesy about me. And he said quite clearly that he's looked over me and he said that I would be, in the first instance, a lawyer from the family. I would be the first lawyer in the family. And after that, as time goes on, he said I would be a leader of some sort. And then he said I would go to many places in the world, and also I would meet royalties, presidents, prime ministers in the world. I went to university here in England, qualified as a lawyer. I was called to the bar, and I worked here for some time. So the first prophecy that I would become a lawyer had come to pass when I was in England. And when I was called to the bar by Lincoln's Inn here in 1976, I realized it dawned on me that this prophecy the father made over many years ago has come to pass. I became a lawyer. And after qualification, I went straight to Jamaica. My first appointment as a lawyer was in Jamaica. I was appointed by then Manley. Prime Minister Manley was in power. I was appointed as a prosecutor in Jamaica based in Montego Bay. So I was prosecuting there for many years, about 3 years. Then I came back to London. I worked for some time with the Inland Revenue Department in Manchester. Then a call came for me to return home. I was very comfortable really in Jamaica, you see. And when I studied the typical Jamaican, I've always told them that I believe the first slave that was repatriated to Jamaica must have come from Sierra Leone, because we look alike, the Jamaicans and Sierra Leone. We look alike, we tend to have the same genes. So I believe perhaps the slaves that went to Jamaica, after the emancipation must have come from Sierra Leone. Because if you look at the names of the freed slaves that were settled in Sierra Leone, they have English names as well as Jamaicans have. Johnson, Williams, no. So I was very comfortable there. In fact, if you look at it very closely, I would always pass for a Jamaican. And I had a very good time there. I met Prime Minister Manley, ministers, and other people in Jamaica. I was well looked after there. And I left my name there as a prosecutor. They used to call me the African prosecutor, because my accent was a little bit different from theirs. They have lighter accent than the typical African accent. It's very thick, So I came back to London, worked for some time, and then the call came for me to return to Freetown, to Sierra Leone. So I came to Freetown, Sierra Leone, and I was a magistrate for some time in one of the provinces in Sierra Leone, Moyamba district, for 3 years or so. Then the same president who invited me to return to Sierra Leone, Sir Stevens, also convinced me to join politics. There was a tussle among the party, the APC party, which I'm still presently a party member. And about five of us wanted to be president at the same time. Nobody would step down for another. So I thought the fight was going too far and the elections were drawing very near. So I decided, look, through inspirational connection, I realized that the present president would be the one that would support. So I decided to give it a go. Say, look, Mr. President, and it's good, Mr. President, I'm going to support you. And I was one who carries the cloth. So they know me. I was more popular than all the other candidates combined. So people came to my side, and we made an excommunicated president today. And I'm very proud I did. When I became an adult, I never recall or remember any of these prophecies. I forgot about this completely until I came to London. After I qualified as a lawyer, then I went back to Freetown, became a politician, very senior politician, and I was assigned to this embassy in London in 2010. I was sent here, and I never recall these prophecies at all. Never. I forgot completely until one day I dreamt an old man on a walking stick, leaning on a walking stick. He came to me in the dream and said, Popio, that was my African name, Popio, African name, not Edward. He said, have you forgotten what your father said about 50 years ago? I said, what? I could remember the dream. He said, think about it. That's a true story I'm saying to you, I'm telling you right now. So I woke up. I said, my God, what was that? When being a Christian, I always remember what God said. He said, if you forgot anything about the Bible, just put me into remembrance. So I said, Lord, please put me into remembrance. What his father was saying, honestly. Then I went back about 2 weeks later, and this same old man came back. I said, your father prophesied something about you. Be a lawyer, be a diplomat, meeting royals. Oh my God. He said, yes. Then I decided there and then to write a book on those prophecies. Now, the problem was, what would be the title of that book? I couldn't make it up. So I thought about so many titles, biography of editorial, blah, blah, blah. So I prayed again to God. I said, God, show me a title. And honestly, to the glory of God, the title came to me, plain, on a piece of, like a wall, Prophecies of a Father. My God, I said, okay, fine. I said, God, you going to let me write this book through your inspiration? I said, because we've learned about Abraham, Isaac, Isaiah. They were all prophets of old. And I've read the Bible so many times, I've never seen any autobiography of Abraham that he went to a school, he went to university, he went to, I don't know. But God inspired them to write the Bible, the Old Testament. So I say, God, please inspire me. And this is a true testimony. When I sat down to write, the instructions, as I understand it, that I should sit from 12 midnight till 4 to start my book. That's instructions my spirit told me. So I started from 12. I was just noting down chapters. Chapter 1, this topic. Chapter 2, for a week or so. After that, when I finished, I got about 47 chapters, all told. Then I started to write. Believe me, I took about 2 weeks to write the whole book. 2 weeks. Non-stop. If I start to write by 12, from chapter to chapter, then I finished. Then at the end of the day, I found out I had 47 chapters. My God, it would be a big book, large book, bulky book. So I consulted my editors. They said, look, the paperback is going to be too big, and people nowadays don't like bulky books to read. They'll be bored. So they have to put it to 17 chapters, this present one. And there's another one, I have the manuscript for for the second book that will incorporate the rest of the chapters. But I want to finish this book first because I've not realized anything from this book yet. You know what I mean? So I finished the book within 2 weeks and I got it printed. And that's it. And all the prophecies my father made, predicted, I've realized them. I want people who believe God, who trust in God, to know that nothing is impossible in the sight of the Lord. Because I've never written a book before. I didn't even know how to start a book. But God made me to write this book through His inspiration. So the target is for people to know God is real. God is real. He used my father, who was stark illiterate. In fact, if you look at the book, he was an animist. He didn't believe anything. I say it with pride. But he was very powerful. He has his own little kingdom in my village. He was head of the kingdom. And he prays for rain, it comes. He settled disputes, even though he was an animist, even though he was neither a Muslim nor a Christian. But he believed, he called it in the white man's education. He called it white man's education. Because what happened was it? During the colonial days, you have very young white men from England sent to the colonies to serve as district commissioners. They were very young, 20, 21, 22. And they used to control certain chiefdoms. And he saw them, he admired them. He used to come to the village, mostly Welsh people, because you look at by the names. And he used to admire them. And he believes that the white man's education was the best. So by himself, he created a private primary school in the village. And he got all his siblings to go to the school. He had a lot of brothers from the same father. You know, Africa, polygamous, it's always there. And he entreated the sons and daughters of his brothers to go to school. He said, no, they prefer to go to Islamic schools. He said, okay, I send mine to the white man's education. So he hired a teacher from the district headquarters in Makeni to come to the village to teach us the white man's education. So we learned arithmetic, spelling, handwriting, So he saw, he was more advanced, although he was an illiterate, but he had tremendous respect for the white man's education. And thank God today we are reaping it, because in the whole area, only our father, from our side, that is from Kandechure, we have educated people like us, like me, because all my brothers and sisters all went to school there. Right, this is a very good book. I recommend it, please. You see, you have to read it to know more about African culture, tradition, and customs. You have to read it yourself. And I think by 1st August, it will be on the stores all over the world. And secondly, it will also be in eBay, Amazon, perhaps. And then we get it from there. But I say it's certainly going to hit the world by the 1st of August. You see, and it's there, you get it. But if you want, if you're in London, you want a copy, contact Salon High Commission, 41 Eagle Street, London. We have copies there to dispose of.
Daphne, tell me about the reasons why you felt you needed to launch the ambassador's book.
When the ambassador told me about the book, that he had written a book, he then gave it to me to read. I read the book. I found it very inspirational. I quite liked it. And at the time, it was still, well, not many people knew about it. So I wanted to sort of really put my own input. I wanted to help out. That's why I decided, what I suggested to him, that we launched the book at the London Marriott.
And this is your first book, right?
This is the very first, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we started off by launching the book at the London Marriott.
Mm-hmm. How do you think the launch went?
Well, I don't know whether, I think it went very well. It went very well.
What were you looking to achieve when you did the launch?
Well, that people liked the book, and well, it was more or less also promotion, isn't it? Promoting the book.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that, I wanted people to buy as much as they could, and I hope that I try to get them to buy the books,
Mm-hmm.
and I hope that and I wanted them. Well, I knew actually that once they read the book,
Mm-hmm.
that they would like the book.
Mm-hmm. And what's so special about this book for you?
Well, the fact that he wrote it in a couple of weeks, the fact that it's not fictional, the fact that it's reality and something which was prophesied by his father growing up as a boy, and which then came true. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And most of these things, most of it actually, what was written in the book, has indeed come true. So, and like His Excellency said, nothing is impossible. Please go out and purchase the book. You can get it at Amazon, Google, or eBay.